So, have you ever had to make a really tough career decision? Now, I bet that somewhere along your journey, you've had to do this, right? Maybe you've had to take a new job. You've wanted to take a new job. That's the one we think of most of the time. But maybe you've had other decisions you've needed to make along the way, like maybe taking on a new project, something that felt bigger than what you thought you were ready for, or managing people, managing projects. Maybe it also was to move. Hi, Molly. Some people move around the world. But whatever it is, we all know that making a career decision is not always easy. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. And I am so glad you're here. For those of you who know me, hi again. I'm Darcy Eikenberg. For those of you who don't, I'm an executive coach. I teach and speak on leadership development issues and on career and success issues. And I write over at redcaperevolution.com, which if you want to go check it out, definitely check it out after we're done with our broadcast here today. At Red Cape Revolution, we're focused on really helping you become the hero in your career. That's right, put that red cape on just to soar through your work and your life. And this month, I have been writing a lot about making career decisions. And actually, my most recent blog post was the truth about why making career decisions is hard. And I'll tell you a story. One of the reasons that I wanted to do this Facebook Live today was that I got so many comments from that post. People saying, yeah, I always struggle with career decisions, or I'm struggling with one right now. Or, I think that there's times when I've tried to make a career decision and I have punted. Basically, I said, I'm just going to let it go. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why making career decisions is so hard, and also how we can get around it, what we can do, what we can do for ourselves, what we can control to be able to make career decisions easier. So if you like this topic, and this is something that that a friend might want to hear, please share it, press like, give me some feedback. Tell me if this is a topic that's worthwhile to spend some time on for you. And also, if you have a question, you can ask it here and I'll answer it after the video is over. But also, you can always send a question to me at tinyurl.com/askdarcy. And yes, I did have to write this backwards so that you could see it. So I'm not always that talented. But anyway, tinyurl.com/askdarcy. Ask me your private question. I answer all of them. I love hearing your stories, and that's why I'm here, to help you make better career decisions so that you can soar. So let's dive in. I got 3 reasons to share with you why making career decisions are hard, and also what we can do about it. So here's number 1. The first one is that we're not clear on what we want. Right? There's so many options out there. There are so many possibilities. I think this is probably one of the things that I see leaders struggle with. I see successful professionals struggle with, because they think they should do this or they should be that. I had a conversation just this morning with somebody who said, I have all these different things that are coming at me, but what do I want? What's going to be right for me? And she even went so far as to say, the strengths that I know I have, I keep being told are weaknesses. Oh, that just makes me so frustrated, because you've got to get clear about what you want. And then the rest of the world, it doesn't matter what they want from you. You can find that place where what you want, where what you're clear on, make sure that you can then act on that, that you can make choices around that. You know, when we're not clear as to what's important to us, what happens is that everything seems important. Everything seems like it's something that we should spend time on, invest in, chase after. But let's say that I know that right now at my season of life, that having freedom and flexibility is really important. Well, then maybe I don't want the job, don't want the new project, don't want the opportunity that involves a lot of travel and being away from home and having a more rigid schedule. That doesn't say that I will never want that opportunity, but maybe it says for now, I know myself and what's important now. So the first thing to make better career decisions is always to get clear about what you want and who you are. And for those of you who are just joining us, who haven't followed our work at Red Cape Revolution, I've got a whole slew of tools out there, redcaperevolution.com/free-tools. You'll find it. You're smart. And you can find more tools about finding what's next for you and getting clear on what's right for you right now, just as you are, not having to fix you or change you. So, okay. Remember, keep your questions coming. If you have questions, I'll answer them after this video, but you can ask them at tinyurl.com/askdarcy. And you can post them right on this page. Again, I can't see them in the moment. Maybe eventually I'll get a little better at that, but I definitely want to answer any questions that you have. The second reason why making career decisions sometimes seems so hard is that we're focused on the decision. But the decision isn't the problem. You know, in fact, we make decisions all the time. I did some research for the last article that I wrote about making career decisions. And some of the research says we make, I think it was 35,000 decisions a day. Anybody relate to that? You know, and that's not counting the decisions that our body makes for us. To breathe, to sleep, to do other things that we don't discuss in polite company. But we make a lot of decisions all the time. So we actually know how to make decisions. And when we have the clarity of what's important to us, we can narrow those decisions down more. But the place that gets us stuck is that we're not certain of the consequences of our decision. And hang with me a second before you think that that's like slicing it too fine. Here's what I see happen a lot, is that we're struggling with a decision. And we're really focused on that action, that yes or that no, that pro or that con. But what we fail to do is really walk through the details of what happens in each scenario. If I say yes to this new opportunity, I might have a longer commute, I'll make more money, I'll do this, I'll do that. But what happens is that people say, well, if I make this choice for this new thing, I don't know what's going to happen when this happens, if that happens. But the fact is, in many cases, you can find out a lot of that information. Wow. You can ask questions. I know that sounds just like crazy and radical, right? But whether it's an interview situation, whether it's a new project in your company, whether it's just you deciding that you want something new and different in your career and your life, to find out the consequence, we've got to go and we've got to ask questions. And who do we ask questions of? Not Siri, not Alexa, of each other, of our friends. I bet right now on Facebook, you have friends, and I mean real friends, capital F friends, not just like, oh, they kind of found me, but somebody who has been through a similar situation, maybe somebody who works at a project or at a company or in the way that you're looking to work, you can talk to them, ask them, I'm curious to know more about your experience in working from home more often, or your experience at this company, or what's life like for you when you travel all the time in your role. You know, this is so simple, but in our really busy life, we have forgotten that one of the best resources is our relationships and each other. And it's maybe I don't know the exact person, but if I ask Chrissy, she does. If I say, Chrissy, do you know somebody who's starting a new business who I could talk to learn about what it might be like if I decide to start a new business? And Chrissy will say, yes, here's 5 people I'm going to introduce you to right now, right? This is how it works. And in an age where we are less trusting than ever of the information that's out there. Hello, fake news, anyone? We are more trusting of the relationships and the information and the ideas that we're getting from each other. So don't discount that. If you're afraid to make a career decision, if you're stuck, if you're not sure what to do, ask questions about the consequences. Talk to somebody who's been there. If you're in a job interview situation, talk to the recruiter, talk to the people in the organization. I think we need to get in the habit of building the muscle to ask better questions. And again, remember, you can ask your questions right here. I'll answer them all after the broadcast and in future broadcasts. And you can also ask me questions at tinyurl.com/askdarcy. And no, for those of you joining late, I did this myself. It wasn't the 3-year-old. That's the extent of my artistic abilities. Not like some other people like John. Hi there, John, who just joined us. So we've gone over 2 ways that we can make better career decisions, especially the big ones, right? The ones that just overwhelm us. So here's the 3rd one. Stop listening to the lizard brain. Yes, you have a big brain. And I know because you're out here and you're interested in these topics, your brain is going all the time. You are smart. You are successful. You are an awesome person. And, and you have this lizard brain. Technically, it's the amygdala. And the brain scientists out there, you can correct me if I'm getting the words wrong. But the theory is this. There's a part of our brain that was instilled in us biologically from the beginning to protect us, to keep us safe, to keep us away from when the dinosaurs were roaring, that we'd run the other way. But here's what happens today. That same part of our brain kicks in, sends us all these negative emotions when we hear our boss roar. And we get actually a physiological feeling of unsafety. Unsafety, is that a word? Unsafety? Of not being safe. And that, in turn, makes us question our decisions. That lizard brain kicks in, and the lizard brain says, oh, don't do that. Don't move forward. Stay where you are. I know that you don't love your job. I know that you're feeling like it's not going to take you anywhere. I know that you're ready for something new, but don't. For those of you who are in creative fields, which I know many folks who follow me are, it's a great book, and if you haven't read it, please pick it up. It's probably on my shelf over here. It's called The War of Art. Not the art of war, but the war of art. And in it, Stephen Pressfield, he wrote it originally for writers, but I think that it really applies to all of us who are battling that lizard brain. He calls it the resistance. He says that every time you are about to go do something that is nice and good and beneficial for you and your growth, that, well, the lizard brain pops up, that the resistance pops up. Tries to pat you down, right? Instead of lift you up. So that's our job here together. We've got to say, thank you, lizard brain, for keeping me safe. And I got this. I got this. I've made good decisions. I know how to make good decisions. I make them all the time. I can understand the consequences as much as any of us can understand the consequences of either decision. And of course, remembering that even staying still is a decision. And even staying right where you are, we never fully know the consequences. So, talking back to that lizard brain. If you're interested in this, I have a podcast on talking back to the lizard brain. I think Winning the Battle of the Brain. That's what it's titled. And I'm happy to send it to you, or I'll post it later if this is something that you're interested in. And there's so many good books right now. My favorite is an old one from Seth Godin, where he talks about the lizard brain. And what is the name of that book? I'll post it. I can't see it from here, but remember that it's not that your doubt means don't. And I think Oprah said that at some point. And Oprah, we love a lot of things that Oprah does and says, but doubt means don't, I don't think works for us. Doubt just says, what else do I need to know? What's the next piece of research? What's the next question I need to ask? And then there's a point as to where we need to trust the most important person in our career, and that's us, to make the right decision for you. So I hope that those 3 tips are helpful to help you make better career decisions. If you liked what you heard, if there was something here that was new or interesting, or at least if you just had a little bit of fun as you're having your lunch, or, depending on where you are in the world, your dinner or your breakfast, I really would ask if you would share this with a friend. If you would like it, pass it on, and let other people know about the work that we're doing at Red Cape Revolution. We have a bunch of free tools to help you make better career decisions, to get your clarity, to build your confidence, to take control of your life at work. And I'm here to help. So before we wrap up, I had a few questions come in. So just take a minute to share a situation that somebody, thank you, and I'll keep you confidential. Oh, by the way, too, I love it when you post here and tell me your stories. If you want to share something with me confidentially, again, you can ask Darcy, tinyurl.com/askdarcy, or you can always email me at Darcy, D-A-R-C-Y, at redcaperevolution.com. But here's a question from, we'll just say M. So, I have a problem that's compounded by company culture. The senior leaders of this organization tend to be really gossipy about people, and they tend to put people into categories. I've only been there a year, but I'm not sure whether it's the place for me. So here's my question. How do I determine if the environment is toxic, or do I stick around and wait it out? We've all been there, right? There's the culture that we work in is so important. So, and my thoughts for you are, first of all, we only control 3 things in any of our career decisions. Here they are. We control everything we say, everything we do, and everything we think. Everything we say, everything we do, and everything we think. And honestly, when you put that all together, that's a lot. It's kind of your whole experience in your work. So if the environment, if the leaders are behaving in ways that are, you use the word toxic, have you said something? Have you gone to your key leader and actually pointed it out and said, hey, Bob, I don't know if you recognize this or not, but when you're talking about, and I'm making this up, M didn't say this in the letter. When you're talking about the women in the office, you're really being demeaning and disrespectful. And I'm not sure whether you realize that, but that's how I'm hearing it. And just to say it and then shut up. Wait for Bob's reaction. And also when things are going on around you, when things are happening toxic around you, and whether it's as extreme as that, or whether it's just that people like to gossip and they're laughing about other people, or they're doing something that just doesn't fit for you. The only thing you can control is saying something. Or you could choose to walk away, to doing something. Or you can choose to think differently. And now I hope you don't think that, oh, well, maybe that's fine here, if you feel that it's not fine, whatever's happening. So don't give up yet. Make sure that you have at least done your part to ask, what else could this mean? That you've taken control. Now, if you take control and no one is responding to you, if you ask the question, if you walk away when the things are happening that you don't want to be a part of, then you've got your evidence, right? Then you've got your evidence that this culture is not for you. And then it's time to think about what's next. And so then we go back to some of the decision-making tools I talked about earlier. So I hope that's helpful. A lot of times I see people give up way too soon. You have to take control and do the work first. And I know you can, because you've got your red cape on. So, as we wrap up today, again, thank you so much. If this was helpful, please share it. Please pass it along. That is the best way to have other great people like you find our work here at redcaperevolution.com. Ask me anything. Ask me your career questions. Ask me what's next for you, and I am happy to do that. I'm Darcy Eikenberg. You can find me at redcaperevolution.com and here on Facebook at facebook.com/redcaperevolution. We'd love to see you there. If you haven't already liked the page, come on over, come on by, and you can watch this video again anytime. All right. Bye for now. Thanks for being here.